Welcome to Updates with Precious. My name is Precious Enye, and welcome to Updates with me, Precious. Today, for Inside Updates with Precious, me and Mr. Darlington, we want travel small, go back memory lane. Look, we'll talk about things where BC been happened in the past. Recently, former Federal Commissioner for Information and South leader Oga Edwin Clark been come out come talk say the reason why make them dey overthrow Oga Gowon government and because of say he been appoint one engineer Odo. And engineer Odo na Kalabari man way from River State, South Nigeria. But they say in come talk say a lot of people see the man as person wey be say na Igbo man, and a part of waiting make people come say no because they see Igbo man as threat. Now waiting make them overthrow Oga Yakubu Gowon government. And I waiting make I ask Mr. Darlington this afternoon. Mr. Darlington, first of all, welcome. As you don't follow me lounge like this. So I say make I ask you why it be say the appointment of Oga Engineer Odo, where it be say they sense am as Igbo man, go be a problem, or why it be say they go sense am as a threat to the country, when make the country because of that one overthrow Yakubu Gowon government. If waiting Oga Edwin Clark write for that in book, brutally frank and anything to go by.
Thank you, Precious. The thing where you talk now, it will tell you say some people they never agree say the civil war don't end though. They still have that perception that Igbo man is the problem of Nigeria. Meanwhile, it is falsehood. Now, typical lie. Remember, after the war, Gowon be talk say no victor, no vanquish.
Say nobody win, nobody lose. Now waiting they mean abi?
Yes. And he now introduced the 3R. Rehabilitation, reconstruction, and rehabilitation of the Igbo man.
Okay.
To reintegrate them back into the Nigerian society.
That is rehabilitation, reconstruction, and reintegration.
Reintegration.
Okay.
That was the 3R.
The 3R. Okay. And now Oga Gowon introduced them. And now he be the head of state at the time the war end.
Exactly.
Good. I want make Nigerians understand this history small.
Good. That was the reason. So part of that RRR was what he did with that appointment. Are you getting what I'm saying? Even though the man is not a typical Igbo man, but because he's from the south, because all those areas, the southeast, everybody in the southeast is an Igbo man.
Oh, so now what's make even till present day, everybody now Omo Igbo. I tell them say from River State, I be Omo Igbo. If you say you're from Delta State, you be Omo Igbo.
Many people are Igbos.
So they see every because all that part of the eastern region
exactly.
before. Oh,
that was what happened.
Okay.
All the Calabars, every one of them. So that is the impression they have up to tomorrow. That was the problem. So because of that appointment, the people that initiated this war, they were not happy. Because their intention was not even to see one Igbo man alive. They wanted to exterminate the Igbos, but God did not allow that.
Why?
And so,
because as they talk, so they make me feel like the Tutsi thing will happen for inside
exactly.
Rwanda.
Meanwhile, this was a propaganda. Precious.
Sir?
I wish you would have time to listen to this particular.
Oh yeah, they talk. Make they hear you.
Good. What was the genesis of this matter? This war, this so-called war, Biafran war. What was the genesis? Something happened in Southwest. There was an election in 1964.
Okay.
It generated so much furore. That was when you hear the Wild West.
Oh, what's in the Wild West? What's in the mean?
Good. The place was, in fact, the entire Southwest was almost burned down because of that election. There was a disagreement between Awolowo and Aketola. Then Kelemesi.
Now what's it cause that?
Yeah, they did not agree.
What's it been cause their disagreement?
The election was supposed to have been rigged.
Okay.
And because of that, the rigging of that election, Wole Soyinka went to Western Broadcasting Corporation, that is their media house, he hijacked the studio and announced his own results. That was October 15, 1965.
He and Wole Soyinka contest for the
No, he did not contest.
So how he use announced results?
He was angry. He was part of the people who were agitating. Are you gonna, because of the outcome of the election? He was not happy.
Oh, say they rigged the election.
Yeah, they rigged the election.
Oh, so he can't announce the result when he gets, when he sees, say like good.
Because of that, that was in 1965. Because of that, he was arrested. Are you what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
Then in 1966, because of this thing that happened in the Southwest, there was a coup. January 15, 1966. The army took over just to stop all the carnage, all the killing, all the disturbances everywhere. 1966.
Because of the disagreement, because of the disagreement of the election where happened
in Southwest.
Okay. Oh, now, then every region they get their own election.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
So it is good. Wait till make I ask this question and make our, especially our young people, make them understand what's happening.
Exactly. Good. Now, because of that election, and because of how it turned out, Awolowo was imprisoned for treasonable felony. He was accused
because of saying do waiting.
Because he was an actor. He was part of he was a contestant in that election. And because of the way things turned out, he too was not happy. Are you going to say he was not happy? So he himself and his some of his followers, I think they were arrested in Ghana or so because they were accused of planning coup somewhere there. Are you going to say? So they brought them and then they imprisoned them. Send them to Kalabari prison.
Because of the no go gree wey happen for that election.
Exactly. Because there was a state of emergency. So this now culminated what happened later between the military. Because of that coup that happened in 1966, January 15, some notable political leaders were penciled down to be killed.
Oh, wow.
Yes. The killing was mostly from that of the north, including the Sauduna, that was Ahmadu Bello, and so many northern leaders and all that. Then in the southwest, some people were killed. But Okpara and Azikiwe, for reasons which nobody knew, they survived the coup. They survived that coup. And that made the northern people to be angry.
Wait, they survived which coup? The coup
of 1966.
Oh, wait up which person government? I like make you mention
that was the Tafawa Balewa government, NPC, Northern People's Congress government. He was the prime minister then.
So now this coup where they talk in Igbo people now plan the first coup, and I the first coup for Nigeria. Exactly. Where they talk in Igbo people now plan the first coup for Nigeria. And this coup they talk about so.
Exactly, now it happened. So now, in the real sense, the coup was not even planned by the Igbos.
Oh, wow.
Are you going to say yes?
So who planned them?
But because if you read the 5 measures and why we struck, the man that wrote is the Yoruba man. Why we struck?
Why we strike them?
Why we struck? And then the 5 measures. If you read this book, you will see the names there. Why we struck? They didn't say why the Igbo struck. Oh. So there are books, but people choose to neglect the true history and they are projecting the Igbo man. Now, Aburi Accord was the one that quelled that coup.
Oga, you go to speak pidgin English, Oga Darlington.
He was the one who stopped the coup.
Aburi Accord stopped the coup.
Yes, because
so which role Kaduna and Zogo play?
I'm coming now. He was the one that spearheaded the coup of 1966.
Okay.
Himself and many other northern and southwest military officers. Are you going to say?
That is Kaduna and Zogo.
Kaduna and Zogo, yes.
Him and southwestern military officers
and northerners.
And northerners. Now they planned the coup.
Yes, in the real sense, let me tell you how the Igbo man got involved.
Okay.
Kaduna and Zogo came from Asaba.
Yes.
Are you going to say?
Yes.
And because of that name, they claim he's an Igbo man. But in the real sense, Kaduna and Zogo grew in the palace of Sauduna of Sokoto. That is Ahmadu Bello.
Now we see make the name of Kaduna self.
Good. Because Ahmadu Bello, he never had any child of his own. So he adopted that guy Kaduna, that's why the name Kaduna came into his
The
name.
name.
Are you getting it
Very
now?
well, very
Good.
well.
And Kaduna didn't like, Zogu didn't like what was going on, even under his own father, adopted father. He saw all the 10%ers, all the how corruption was, the guy was not happy. Because the army of those days, they were thoroughbred, they were professional. They don't like all this thing that is happening today. So because of that, the Kaduna now spearheaded, being somebody from the house of Sauduna.
Sauduna.
That was why they felt he should be the one to lead, because he was so angry. He did not even bother that his own father is the head of the government, because it was even Saduna who was supposed to come and become the prime minister in Lagos at Tafawa Balewa Square. But he sent Tafawa Balewa to come and be the prime minister here, while he remained in Kaduna as the powerhouse. That was what happened. The real person who's supposed to be prime minister was Saduna, Ahmadu Bello. But he felt too big to come to Lagos and become a prime minister. That was why he sent Tafawa Balewa. So everything goes to him. If you want anything done, you go to Kaduna, go and meet him there. Anything you want to do, you must go there. The man here is just like a figurehead. That's the Tafawa Balewa. So when this thing happened now, many northern leaders were killed. According to the book written by the actors.
They killed plenty northern leaders.
Yeah, they killed out. So, but Zik and Okpara and a few other Michael Okpara.
Michael Okpara.
Yes, they were spared. I don't know how they got tip of the coup and then escaped.
So only 2 of them be the people who been involved.
Not only 2 of them. I think there are so many. There are others, but because of that, the Hausa element now got angry that all their leaders were killed while the Igbos were spared. So they now, it was because of it that they now believe that it was the Igbos that planned the coup. And that was why there was a revenge coup in July 1966.
But they don't see the Nzogu way be saying from their own place.
That's what I'm telling you. They didn't see it that way. The only thing is that these Igbo people that were spared, these Igbo leaders, it was their anger.
And then, because everybody died, the say,
exactly.
general team.
So make matters worse. Aburi Accord, who was the general team then, because he performed wonders in Congo. Aburi was in Africa, he was feared. So he was able to quell the coup, and he didn't spread more than he should. He stopped them. He gathered some of the boys and even threw them inside prison. That's Aburi Accord. It was in that process that he now promulgated Decree 34 to unite Nigeria. Unification Decree 34. That was even the last one that brought the camel's back. Aburi Accord thought that with that decree he will unite the country, not knowing that the North were not ready for that. That was why there was a revenge coup in July 1966. You know, people are not talking about January 15, because that was the first one.
And the one
that
everybody
was the revenge coup.
Yeah,
that was the revenge coup that one is even more disastrous.
So which people can die for that revenge coup?
Good. It was not the Igbos.
Hey, wait.
Because of the propaganda that the Igbos did the first
one. So this one now to make sure they do them back.
Good, they retaliate.
So at least do me, I do you. Good. God no go.
Exactly, they now retaliated. And that was why for 3 days, 260 top Igbo military officers were slaughtered. Some were killed on the road.
How that one use happen? How that one use happen?
When they did the coup now, they started, they know all the Igbo people now who were holding office, because as at that time, the Igbos were the top echelon of the military. Because they entered the military with high degree. Ojuku entered with master's degree in history from Oxford, which is unheard of in Africa. The highest you can get from the North is standard 6 and all that. In fact, even standard 6 was difficult. So most of the Igbos here, because they went to school, they were absorbed into the army and they were holding top positions. So this thing attracted envy and jealousy among the northern elements. And so they managed to make sure they wiped them out. And for 3 days after that, during the second coup, for 260 of them, 260 top-ranking Igbo officers were wiped out. They killed all of them. And it was here that Ojukwu, being the one he was one holding the GOC, a general officer commanding, I think that was in Kano that time. When the killing continued and the Igbos were being, in fact, it moved from the military to the Igbos. See how the thing escalated. Because of what would Agui University did, that decree 34, unification decree. Please let me ask you, the man who want to unite your country, is he a patriot or a saboteur?
You're supposed to be patriots now. Person wey wan unite supposed to be patriots. That is, person wey wan defend the country, make everybody come together.
But the North never wanted it. You can imagine now. So because of that hatred, they went after the Igbos. Meanwhile, the Igbo man has been sacrificing to unite this country. That was why Agui University, we went to Ibadan for a conference.
Agui University go Ibadan?
Yes. We went to Ibadan because, it was based in Lagos now. As the military head of state, he was in Lagos. But there was a mutiny. And they told him not to go to that Ibadan. Even the wife, everyone, he said he would go. Because maybe he believed in this is mystical power and all that. And he went. And the host then in Ibadan was Faji, Adekunle Faji, who was to host him. So when the night came, we didn't know that this thing is as serious as they surrounded the house. That's the house of Adekunle Faji. And said they
Adekunle, Oga Adekunle Faji house.
Adekunle came out and said, look, the people who did it was Danjuma was their arrowhead. T.Y. Danjuma.
T.Y. Danjuma
was the one leading them. He surrounded his house. The man came out and said, this is my visitor. You can't kill my visitor in my house.
From my own house. You can't be like saying me.
A whole head of state. You can't do that. They said, no, he must die. The man now said, oh, before you can kill him, you will kill me first. And that was how they killed Adekunle Faji.
That's how they carry kill Adekunle Faji.
They killed him. When they now killed him, now surrounded
Agui
University. It was Daniel that removed his epaulets. And then, because the bullet could not...
That is in rank now.
In rank, yeah, they removed him. Because the bullet could not penetrate him according to them, they now drag him into the forest. And then, we are slaughtering themselves. Are you getting what I'm saying?
So they slaughter him using
Yes, they didn't shoot him because the bullet could not enter, according to history. So they killed him in the forest. At that time, nobody knew where Agui University was.
Nobody know what happened to him.
Yes.
Visitor will even come visit, don't also die.
As long as the man where get house don't die.
So nobody know what happened to him.
The visitor. So they took him away. It was at that point that Nigeria became headless. Nobody knew what was going on. Meanwhile, Brigadier Gundigbe was second in command to Agui University, and he was in Lagos. He was supposed to take over. But of course, when the head of state cannot be found, they now said, okay, he should take over. When he now took over and gave a command to Hausa boys that surrounded, they ignored him and turned their nose against him. The man now knew that this is a rebellion. He excused himself. It was at that point that the military guys from the north now brought to Gowon, who was an ADC to Agui University, and made him the head of state.
Wait, they can't bring a junior officer. Person wey say nine guard. This is person wey they guard them.
ADC to Agui University.
Now they can't make
a head. Gowon make a head of state. It was at this point that Ojukwu said no. That unless he know what happened to Agui University, and unless Brigadier Gundigbe take over, he will not obey any other person. That he will not obey his junior in the army. That was the last straw.
So now waiting cause war.
That was that.
So now waiting make this civil war. We would hear civil war.
Exactly. That was
now just waiting cause civil war. Be this.
I am telling you.
Just this small disagreement like this.
Not be now. That is the that what propaganda.
Something will be say normal negotiation for solve.
I said, hold on. Even when the war started, though, when they were killing the Igbos all over the north, in fact, the slaughter was so much. Ojukwu had to relocate.
But the Ojukwu been talk saying he go like make Ogundigbe take over. No, Ogundigbe na Yoruba man now. Not be say him be the fight for Igbo man now. So not be say Ojukwu talk say no, me I must rule. By waiting you they tell us now. If this story where you write where you talk to now, so
that will tell you that it was,
because I'm not gonna like talk the story the way I use read them. I like hear your own aspects.
That will tell you that this thing was premeditated. It was already planned. To make sure that the Igbos are wiped out, because it was the position of the Igbo man was attracting envy and jealousy. That's how to put it. Nothing else. It's not as if
So that means that first coup thing still dey person mind,
I
still dey
am
mind
telling
since.
you,
So
and
if it be part of wetin cause
and
this.
it's not as if the Igbos initiated it or the Igbo did anything wrong. What I'm telling you is I have given you books. Go and read those books. You will see the facts there, including the tragedy of victory by Alabi Sama. That man is even more detailed about the coup.
All these books wey you talk now, sef, na mostly non-Igbos na even write the books.
Thank you, my sister. Thank you, my sister. So if you read that, you get the facts there, but the northern element, they choose to neglect the facts just because of this hatred that the Igbo man is climbing high, you know, because as at that time, the Southeast was the fastest growing economy in the whole of Africa. In fact, Ojukwo's father was the first billionaire in Africa. So all these things was attracting envy.
No vex, just because of noise again, make it talk about. They said the Southeast was the fastest growing economy in Igbo pass.
In Africa, not even Nigeria.
Oh wow.
I'm telling you, Africa.
And Ojukwu Papa na him be the first
billionaire in Africa is on record. Are you getting what I'm saying? The Igbo man was the first VC of UI. UI that was formed in 1948. When he became it was the Igbo man, Kenneth Dike, the first VC of UI. The one you like here, the first VC, an Igbo man, Mr. Njoko. So Igbos were because of their academic excellence, which I will tell you how this thing happened. How this academic excellence happened. Now, because of all these things, the Igbo man became what? An endangered species in Nigeria. All because of their excellence, nothing else. There is no other thing. No other thing. That was the hatred. That was how it came about. When this thing now happened, Ojukwu now said no, he will not obey his junior. And then the killing continued. Igbo said no, this killing that Ojukwu should declare Biafra, that they want to go. Meanwhile, the killing was going on. In fact, on the 29th of July, all our women in the north, especially in Kano, they were hardened. All those, you know, Igbo women now, they rounded them up and threw them inside the leprosy settlement. You know, women, leper, where lepers are, leper, threw them inside there to be molested by leper. 29th of July, some women died. Instead of them to go through that experience, they preferred to die. That was why some of them, they didn't survive it. You know, it's a contagious disease. They threw them inside there. You know what? When I say leper. Just to mess them up. So when this is continued, Ojukwu now under pressure, and when there could be no headway. Remember, negotiations were going in right, left, and just like they are doing with Nigeria now.
Negotiations never still get ahead yet.
They went to Aburi. Listen, Ojukwu went to Aburi with Gowon to mediate peace. At Aburi, listen very well. Listen, at Aburi, agreement were reached, signed, sealed, and delivered. What was the decision? Ojukwu want autonomy for the region, devolution of power, so that the regions can develop at their own pace and pay this into the center.
Pay their taxes to the center. But everybody develop your own region. Good. So north or south or west, everybody develop your own side.
So that there won't be any envy and jealousy and all that. You develop according to your own pace. Do you know that is what they agreed among other things? Please go and Google the Aburi Accord. You will see it there. It's still there.
I don't go through them before.
Go Google it. Now, when they signed this agreement in Ghana, they came back. Do you know that the civil servants from Lagos here, Manoa, Philip Asio them, on Osode, they said, Gowon, what did you, Ojukwu have played you. Ojukwu have used his Igbo sense to deceive you. That man is too intelligent. Why should you agree to this accord? If you do this, they will become slave to the Igbos. Don't you know that these people, they are ahead of us? No, don't agree. My dear, that was what killed that agreement. And because of these deceitful human beings, Gowon reneged.
Constantly they do again.
You know they go
for waiting, they don't agree before.
That was why Ojukwu said, "On Aburi I stand." Throughout the war, he was saying it.
Now wetin bring that word say on Aburi I stand.
Because of these selfish individuals. That was why we had a Biafran war. I am telling you, if they have allowed that agreement, that Aburi Accord,
everywhere for don develop now, everybody for just did their own.
Please,
well.
Is that not the same thing that we are talking about today? Is it not the same thing we are talking about? You can imagine, since how many years now that the Igbos have been showing the light? You know, when I will be discussing our regular program, say an Igbo station, Igbo, we are trying to correct the propaganda that have been there over the years.
Because as it stand now, south they do well, southwest they do well, you know, southeast they do very well too. Some other regions they do well. So to say every region, north they do well, not central, not west, not east, everybody do well finish. Then all of us go come be better and collective Nigeria.
No, they want us to be working for them so that they be eating. That was the propaganda. That was the envy and jealousy. I said the southeast economy was the fastest growing economy in the whole world. I mean in Africa. Go and check. That was what attracted the envy. That was it. That was just the only reason. But they will use to corner it and tell you, I have always been asking you. Tell me
so this whole thing still spill over to 1975. We make them overthrow Gowon.
Where
Clark now they talk now.
We are coming.
We'll talk because time no day again.
When the war broke out, are you getting what I'm saying?
Go.
And it went back and forth, killings both aside and all that. The Biafran troops were very, very, they were very, very bold and brave at the war front. In fact, the federal troops suffered so many defeats. And they came close to Ore to take over Lagos. That was when Awolowo and his people said, because it was Banjo who was fighting on the side of Biafra.
Banjo,
yeah, Colonel Banjo is a Yoruba man. When he got to Ore, Awolowo and his elders came and told him that, look, Yoruba land will not be a theater of war. With that, Banjo went back to stay in Benin to carve his own empire. He wanted to create his own kingdom there. Meanwhile, Agege was open. It was the Israeli government that told Biafra that, look, you can come through Agege. That was why the federal government severed the relationship with Israel after the war. Yes, because Israel was telling the Biafran
people where to move and how to go about. Oh.
That was their enmity. So when this war continued for that 30
please, I'm recording. Please help me reduce your voice, please.
At a point, remember, Awolowo was jailed in Calabar. Are you getting what I'm saying? Good. And before the war broke out in 1967, you know, I've told you where it started in 1964.
Yes.
Good. When the war broke out, Ojukwu was under pressure not to release Awolowo, who was jailed by the federal government in Calabar prison. But Ojukwu was not interested in killing anybody. In fact, no northerner was killed in the southeast. Ojukwu protected all the houses. It's on record. Meanwhile, they were slaughtering our people all over the place. So when Ojukwu was eventually, when Awolowo was released by Ojukwu, he went back to Lagos. But before he went back, there was an agreement. Awolowo said, look, if Biafra succeeds, that he will go back and organize his own people and they will form their own Oduduwa Republic. Ojukwu said, okay, go ahead.
Now we start that name Oduduwa Republic.
When Awolowo came to Lagos, he made another deal with Gowon, who told him that, look, if you help me to prosecute this war, I will hand over to you as the prime minister. That was the agreement he reached with Gowon.
Meanwhile, been get another agreement with
the one he formed with Ojukwu, he don't leave that one. Because when Awolowo wanted to form it, his people called him and said, come, how many of us are in the army? How many of us are in the army that you want to fight federal government? You want to follow the Igbos? They have the number, they can withstand it. We don't. You have a military cantonment in Ikeja. You have another one at Ibadan. We are surrounded. They will kill all of us. It was this thing that made Awolowo to renege on that agreement.
He was saving people like them.
And now went back to Gowon and made another deal. Meanwhile, Awolowo used his wisdom and intelligence during the war. He was the one that told Gowon, why are you fighting these people? and you are still feeling them. It was for that reason that Bakassi was blocked. That was where
now
Biafra
when I they talk this one.
yeah, no, yes, now it was
So why you
why
they
why
fight
you are
them, then they
fighting
feed them at
yeah,
the
yeah,
same
that's
time?
why they are so bold, because the federal two were suffering so much defeat. Gowon was already preparing to leave Lagos. In fact, the first secessionist um, incident happened at Ikeja cantonment. That was where the Northerners wanted to leave Nigeria. But the British High Commission in Lagos that was more like, don't go, don't go. The British High Commission told them not to go. The decision was taken at Ikeja cantonment. But it was there that the British government High Commission told them not to go, that they should not leave Nigeria. So when Awolowo now helped Gowon with his brilliance, telling them, why are you feeding your people while you are fighting them? Bakassi was blocked and was given to Cameroon.
And at the end, food be the
Now,
front enter for the
exactly. And
Easterners.
because it was not ratified, that was why it had, after the war now, there was a problem about that Bakassi.
Oh, now make them give them back to Cameroon
Good,
under
good.
Obasanjo.
Even though there was no ratification.
Mm.
And because there was no Southerner in the Supreme Military Council then where the decision was taken. Gowon just took it just because Awolowo said, look, stop feeding these people while you are fighting them. The blood Bakassi. 2, all the money that the Igbos have in the bank, whether it is 200 billion pounds or whether it is 1 million pounds, or all of them were taken away by the federal government and they were given 20 pounds. So, by implication,
So much loss.
the federal government fought the Biafran people with their own money. That is the implication. All these things that they will fought war and the Awolowo did not borrow money, that is Genesis. Now there it starts. That was
So they
how it started.
confiscate all the properties,
All the money
where
including property itself. They took all of them just to disempower the Igbo man. That was when Gowon, having realized his mistakes, because all of them, even Awolowo realized that he was used. When Gowon did not hand over to him, Awolowo realized he was used. Gowon now realized that they not to use him. It was then that all of them started doing everything and started realizing what the Igbo man was saying. That they don't want anybody to come up. You see now, especially in the military, there was a ceiling, you can't cross it. That was when they realized what Ojukwu was saying. By that time, it was too late for everybody. It was too late. Both the Middle Belt and the Southwest, they now discovered that they have been enslaved because they did not listen to the Igbo man when he was talking. Till today, has anything changed? Nothing has changed. You see now, nothing has changed. Ask yourself, the coup that overthrew and killed Murtala, it was planned in 2 weeks. The fastest coup in the history of this country. Why? Because something was going on. Murtala was about to do something. These middle belt Benue people, they saw what was Jinkan, they saw what was happening. And they said this will not happen. the
Sorry.
the military officer that carried that, all of them are from the middle belt. The 2 people who were penciled down to take out Murtala at Abalende, up till today, nobody knew where they went to. They disappeared. Of all the coup plotters, all of them were except those 2. They disappeared from the face of the earth. Nobody knew where they disappeared to. And all of them are from the Middle Belt, and all of them are Christians. What does that tell you? Meanwhile, listen very well. Listen, maybe this will now shock you. When Banjo came to Ore, and then his people told him, and he went back to Benin to form his own empire, Murtala and his murderous federal boys, they swoop on him unprepared. By the time they landed, they now discovered that all of them left in a hurry through River Niger. And then they surrounded the village, and the villager told them that the Biafran troops have left. And then Murtala got angry and said, for helping them to escape. He now told the village that they should come, that the war is over, they should not worry. For 3 days, all the young men, they were bringing their weapon, dropping it.
For Asaba.
Asaba, yes.
Oh, now waiting lead to the Asaba massacre.
Yes.
Oh.
He deceived them that they should come. The war is over. They should not.
Because they're not greater than where the Igbo people then been
exactly,
when they confine them.
Exactly. That they help them to escape. So, for 3 days, this thing was good. So when he discovered that a substantial number of them have assembled and they have dropped their weapon, he now said the men should stay one side and the women one side. Meanwhile, he has ordered his men at the appointed time. All the men that came to that square, on his order, all of them were wiped out. They were shot in front of their wife and their children. All the men. That is why if you go to Asaba today, you have the highest number of widows. These women saw their husband die in their presence.
And their sons died.
And their sons, and their uncles, and their brothers.
On the order of
people who don't have arms, they were not armed. They have already surrendered, yet you did all that to them. That is the famous Asaba massacre. What then happened? Listen and listen good. The women now discover that they are like a fish out of water. Asaba women, they didn't know what to do. Their breadwinners are gone. In fact, some of their young ladies were taken away. What would they do? What would they do? So the women now, in order to protect themselves, they cross over to river goddess, the river goddess of River Niger, and surrendered their loyalty and allegiance to her for that to protect them, and asked her to avenge the death of their husband and their sons. Yes. In 1976, Dimka and his people came. Of course, you know what happened.
Tell us.
That was when Murtala was killed now by Dimka's coup.
So if you say that's prayer where be said that's about women pray, nine their God answer like this.
Listen, they told the Gowon and the Black Scorpion to come and appease the goddess of River Niger, whom these women have already surrendered their loyalty to avenge the death. Gowon came through the back door. He didn't come direct. He answered, go and read the Peter Culture's book. I think it's my culture. One take across the Niger. You will see the details there. He would go and answer them through the back door. But the Black Scorpion was too strong-headed. Go and see how he died. Go and see how Black Scorpion died, because he was so, in fact, his own unorthodox way of prosecuting was so bad that at a point the federal government withdrew him from the war front.
What's the full name of this unorthodox? This Black Scorpion.
Benjamin, I think Benjamin Adekunle, yes. The other one is Adekunle Fajuyi, but this other one is Benjamin Adekunle.
And a member of Nigerian military.
Military, yes. Very dreaded though, that man. What they call a Black Scorpion. When he want to go to battlefront, he will select his men, and shoot. Anybody who do not survive that will not follow him to the war front. I'm telling you.
So you must survive gunshots.
Yes, you must survive. To tell you that
you don't cook yourself well.
If
your cooking no work, you no go people and go war.
That is his own method.
Oh wow.
Very unorthodox method, but he was using it.
Oh wow.
That was why he felt that he was invisible. But go and look at his latter end.
Because so you feel saying that the prayer of us about women to their goddess, nine follow little in end.
In fact, not only all the people who took part in that, as long as those women called on that goddess, she fought for them. but their husband and their sons could not come
Come
back.
back again.
But a revenge had taken place. So what I'm not telling you is that except what happened in South Africa happened in Nigeria, Precious, we would never move forward though.
So in other words,
Truth
before
and Reconciliation
Commission, before we get to that truth and reconciliation, so you truly believe, say, waiting Oga Edwin Clark talk, not true, say the waiting make
up till today, not up till today, and is it you didn't hear me? There was a ceiling that nobody will. It was only Ike Nwachukwu who crossed to that what is it not brigadier? Yes, who got to that level as an Igbo man. I'm telling you, before that time, you don't cross. After the war, they see everything. There is a certain position you cannot occupy as an Igbo man. It's on record. It's unspoken listen now. Even up to today, I don't know position that the Igbo man have not occupied in Nigeria. He cannot occupy it. All because of propaganda. Meanwhile, some people discover that because when during the First Republic, the alliance was between the North and the Southeast. The Southwest became envious and was the one that sowed this seed of discord between Ahmadu Bello, Tafawa Balewa, and Azikiwe. I'm telling you, they sowed that seed so that they will split them. Meanwhile, they did not realize what was going on. They did not realize. Because if you look at it, the North said that they are more comfortable working with the Igbos because they are more trustworthy. But the people from here said no. If we allow these people, that means they too will now lose out. So they now use a sharp knife and cut the accord between the NPC and NNCC, NCNC. That was what happened. So it took the North a very long time to realize that the Igbos we are not actually their enemy. You can see now. The Southwest led by Awolowo, they manipulated that coup against the Igbos. Meanwhile, record is now showing us that that coup was not actually an Igbo coup.
and it was actually because they be won't put Awolowo for power.
Exactly. You can imagine. And because that propaganda has gone far now, the North will not really, the Shey will not allow them to accept that they did wrong to the Igbos. You can see. You can see now. Even when Ojukwu died, Gowon acknowledged what he fought for. He said it in his book. I wrote an article that attracted the attention of Gowon, and he told his PA that he wanted me to come for his 80th birthday. They sent me a card. I have the card up to tomorrow. Gowon sent me a card after reading my article in the Sun newspaper concerning that war. He was so impressed. He said that the book is writing that I will help him as a resource person. I'm telling you. So they knew, but it because as an elder, they can't come back and say the Igbos we are sorry.
So waiting be the way forward now, because he talked something, say except it happened for South Africa happened.
I am telling you exactly.
Committee.
We thought
put a panel.
Would have
we get to put a panel. We're supposed to be like our own truth and reconciliation commission.
But Obasanjo converted it into something else. The thing did not even end well. It ended abruptly when revelations were coming out. It ended abruptly.
Now we see that our Mustafa revelations and all that.
It ended abruptly. Then there was another one that resource control now, where Niger Delta people they discovered
because of saying that then get the oil.
Exactly. So even look at it this way. This same man, this Kalabari man that they claim is an Igbo man,
Engineer Odo.
Good. Remember, it was the Rivers people that sabotaged Biafra. They promised Rivers people that look, don't worry, after the war we are going to give you 50% derivation from your oil. That was what deceived the Kensaro Wiwa and his fellow travelers, and they betrayed the Biafra. At the end of the day, when Kensaro Wiwa now came to demand for it, Abacha warned him, but he didn't listen. Look at how he ended.
And remember the Ogoni 9.
Look at it. Both Ogolifa and Ogoni 9, who suffered? Is it not people from Rivers? So when Ojukwu went for burial, he told them good morning. They say, why are you telling us good morning? When it is happening, we are very sorry. We say good morning. He say, yes, now they are waking up now.
So you say that waiting happen for South Africa happen.
Exactly, except that there is a truth and reconciliation where the truth will be told, and what do you call it? People will voice out their mind. You see all this thing we are covering. It's like
and then better reconciliation happen.
Genuine reconciliation. But as long as this hatred, okay, look at what Buhari did in office against the Igbos throughout his 8 years. What does that tell you? Is that not hatred? Please, is that not hatred? He said we will not give him vote.
And he does in a circle.
The performance in office, do you not validate what we are saying that you cannot perform? The people that gave you vote, where are they? So we have always been showing the light. We have always been showing the light that look, this is where Nigeria should go, and but the other people out of envy and jealousy, they will not listen to us. At the end of the day, what we said will come to pass.
Thank you.
Everything that was said in the 1967 that caused the war, is that not what is happening today? Is that not what's happening today? To tell you that Nzogo, let me tell you, Nzogo, to tell you his mind as an Igbo man, because the Igbo blood is in him. Are you going to say it?
Kaduna Nzogo.
Yes, Kaduna Nzogo. When he died at Abagana, where the battle was hottest, because the federal two wanted to enter Biafra through Abagana in Anambra, he died there after a very bitter battle. Gowon, in fact, the both sides, they had to call for a truce to mourn the death of Kaduna Nzogo, to tell you what a fine soldier he was. You know, when somebody died, the both sides were mourning that they have lost somebody. Gowon had to order for his corpse to the federal side. Meanwhile, he was fighting for Biafra. You can imagine that kind of level of patriotism. Gowon, he knew what was, but he was caged. He was used.
All right, thank you so much.
So the same use is going on up to tomorrow. Look at what happened, even in civilian administration. Look at what is going on. That is why whenever I'm talking, it may say, yeah. They don't know. They don't know what is going on. Look at what Buhari did enough. Is it not worse than a military regime? Is it not worse than a military regime? The same hatred, did they not display it against the Igbos? What did they do wrong? I keep asking, what did the Igbo man do wrong? Nobody have answered that question.
All right, Mr. Darlington, thank you so much as you follow me sit down for inside this matter. You know, see me and you go still sit down again talk more.
I appreciate. We just scratch the surface, so.
We go fit talk more again because history need to finish. You know, we finish history in 1 day. Since what happened how many years? Not in 1 hour we go use talk and finish. So no wahala. I appreciate you well as you follow me sit down. So thank you so much. All right, my people, and I don't see as it take be like this. Continue to follow us, make it a hear better gist. Them make they update you for inside updates with Freshers. If you like what you hear like this, subscribe, like, comment, make you continue to hear gist from us. We appreciate you.